Take-Two finally also sold all of the GTA 5 copies they can, it seems, after 10 fucking years of selling 410,000 copies every 5 to 10 minutes. They've decided that, hey, maybe we've actually hit saturation. We can't do this shit anymore. And so they started to slide down. They're not selling as many copies anymore. And the result of that, alongside of their inability as Take-Two, the publisher, to hit their targets, chiefly with their mobile division. Coincidentally, after having just talked about Blizzard's and Activision's, they saw a sharp 15% drop in their stock price after all of their missed estimates. It's kind of climbed back, but not really. We'll have to see if it continues to climb back. If it does, it will take some time. Anytime a company of that size misses marks like that, and they don't see GTA 6 with an actual release date, they're interested in when they're going to get their next round of money as investors. So they've dipped for now, and they'll come back later. But for now, yeah, it was a 15% drop. And it's kind of indicative of the mobile game market impact in general right now. All of gaming is down, clearly, because nobody can afford to buy a loaf of bread or 3 bananas at the store right now, let alone actually go out and buy video games or spend $58 every 3 days on V-Bucks for their Fortnite expenditures. But mobile gaming is hit way fucking harder than even the console market. So the console market, as we've discussed here in the podcast, continues to crank shit out. PlayStation only just recently finally hit supply to meet, and well, not even meet, but slightly surpassed demand. Somebody posted an image on Twitter here last week or early this week where they went into a Walmart or some shit, and there was actually like 15 PS5s in behind a glass case, something we haven't seen literally since that console actually hit the market. And so that shows you that we're actually still doing at least relatively well on the console side. Same with the Xboxes, they're still selling well. And we actually just saw Microsoft come out with all their numbers talking about growth in various ways, and PlayStation talking about, despite the fact that their overall subscriptions for their subscription services has gone down, their actual monetary gain has gone up, largely due to price increases, I would have to take a guess. And so their numbers are still being hit for the most part, while mobile has been tumbling down. In fact, I looked up some numbers earlier this year, the only segment of mobile gaming that actually saw growth for downloads was the action segment, and it came in at a whopping 5%. The rest of the market fucked off somewhere for vacation at Tahiti. That shit's down 28-30% across almost every other category year over year. And so clearly some of that has to do with monetary issues going on in the world right now. But I had a question to propose to you, Mr. Black, and that was chiefly, what else do you think is happening? Do you think that people that have been brought up on, and we talked about this on the podcast too not too long ago, brought up on the mobile gaming market and have been used to spending money in micro amounts to the point where they forget that they've spent $55,000 a year on microtransactions, do you think that they've hit an age now where they went, wait a minute, that's a bad idea? Maybe we shouldn't be doing that any longer because, if the consoles were also tanking out so hard, and PC was also tanking out so hard, but demand is barely being able to keep up with shit on those two still, and any backslides are relatively minor compared to mobile. So what do you think, other than people not being able to have the money they used to here in the last 6 to 9 months, what do you think might be contributing factors for mobile? Do you think that is the case? Is there a shift in the culture of gaming on mobile, or do you think it is just really that the people that would be spending money on mobile suddenly don't have the money?
I don't know. I mean, I think part of it might be a lot of other stuff is going up as well. Like, the economy itself it's taking a beating. People are losing money. Inflation is at all-time high. You've already got a bajillion other streaming services and different things. I don't think it's necessarily one thing where it's like, the kids are no longer using their parents' credit card and now they have to use their own credit card, and now they're thinking, well, I'm not going to spend that money. People are going to spend money on whatever the fuck they want to spend money on. If they like it enough, they're going to spend money. Whether they have it or they don't, they're going to find it, they're going to spend it. I think what this is, I think it's just a far bigger issue. It's not just about the games. I mean, I think part of it is there's too much microtransactions. I think part of it is there's a lot of free to play games now. There's just more options. I also think I think a lot of people kind of identify with one or two games, and that's where they pile most of their money in. And then I think the main thing is people are just fucking don't have that much money in 2022. I just think, the pandemic, like if numbers are going down, like we come out of the pandemic. So like everybody's home, everybody's playing games, everybody's got more money than they ever did, believe it or not. Most people, I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people were getting checks. A lot of people got money. And when you're getting checks and you're getting money and you're not going out to eat, you're not traveling, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, money starts to just show up. You're like, whoa, if I'm not eating out at this restaurant 3 times a week, holy shit, I've got an extra $300 in my pocket. So people were just spending more money, I think, throughout the pandemic. And now we're out of the pandemic and people are back to work, and the economy is shit because of the pandemic and of many other things, and they just don't have the money. I think it's probably the big reason. I could be wrong, but
yeah, I've been trying to figure out why all of the segments except for action games has been the one taking it. Because I agree with everything you said there. I'm just trying to figure out why, for whatever reason, all these other segments tanked so fucking hard. I guess that's just kind of the one thought that I had is that smartphones and shit have gotten so powerful now that the games that people are playing are substantially closer to, let's say, playing a game on the Switch than they would have ever been before. Where like mobile games before really struggled to break into certain genres of gaming because they just didn't have the horsepower to necessarily do it. So everyone's playing fucking, Candy Crush or shit on their phone. And now all of a sudden we've got Genshin Impact, we got PUBG Mobile, we got Call of Duty Mobile, we got like legitimate fucking full-blown first-person shooters, ran full of microtransactions on phones now that play, especially if you strap a controller to your phone, that play damn near similar to the console or PC version. So the only thing I could come up with is that it represents two things. One, all of the monetary things you just mentioned there and the various categories in which they come at people. And then two, I think it's kind of indicative of the direction of the types of games that are becoming more popular on mobile, where it's no longer just, and I didn't even mention Fortnite for fuck's sake. Fortnite, for God, like that's another one. So kind of indicative of the most popular games that are happening to be on phones now that a lot of people are playing in the millions and millions and millions versus what it used to be. So I think while some of those other games are still going to be popular, the ones that are hitting big and making all the revenue are going to be these bigger, fuller experiences, closer to console experience kind of situation. So I think that might be why there's still some sort of growth in that category. It was really one. It was the fucking chart looked hilarious. It was 5% on one, which is barely growth at that point, and then everyone else was like 15, 20, 30+% just in 1 year. So I think that does kind of point in maybe a shift in it. And I do hope personally that while it is likely only a small portion of this shift in revenue and whatnot on mobile, that those people that did grow up used to, as we've talked about them so many times before, spending all this money on phone games, that maybe they did hit an age where they went, wait a minute, I'm getting fleeced to fuck out of every dollar that I friggin' bring in, to my hands. I'm putting it directly into this game, and I'm watching all these other people on consoles and PC, and yeah, they're getting fucked too, but they're getting fucked with like a 4-inch dick, and I'm getting fucked with a 12.5-inch penis, and I need to reduce the size of that before I'm shitting just walking down the hallway. And so I think I'm hoping that that's kind of where they're going with this shit, because that would be ideal, because what it means is maybe it will stop the fucking explosion of the stuff happening on consoles and on PCs, or at least put like a soft ceiling in place where they don't just perpetually chase after the type of transactional, revenue spend that phones have and bring it to other places. And that's just a personal one for me, because we talked about this on my stream the other day too, where it was just like, man, games as a service is really taking the fucking fun at a lot of this shit. Like it just... everything feels like a transaction now. Even when it's not a transaction, when you turn a game on, you feel like you're actively involved in a transaction because you're just getting bombarded. The first thing you boot up Call of Duty, what do you see? Messages of the day. What's the messages of the day shit? 14 different battle pass related things. Here's an expansion this. Here's a fucking way to come online and spend that. Here's our latest Doritos promotional material and your Mountain Dew that you can fucking put in an IV and hook up to your fucking main vein while you're playing Call of Duty for 14 to 15 days straight. It's all there. So the moment you turn it on, you're already getting hit with it. And it just kind of sucks the fun out of the fucking game. And so I do hope that maybe at the very least, if we stopped here, if the fun bus stopped here, I could live with it. But if it like kept crawling to where the phone shit is, oh my god, I don't know. I'd be like reduced to just playing. I'd be buying a fucking like retro Tink, and I'd be plugging in my N64, and I'd just never leave. That'd be it. I'd be phoning it in and playing like Harvest Moon for the rest of my life. Call it a fucking day. What do you think about that shit? You don't play as many games now, but you're starting to play games off stream occasionally. What do you get annoyed with if you dip your toes into this kind of stuff, or are you still managing to like play mostly games where that doesn't exist yet, like single player experiences and things?
Yeah,
I
I don't really get bombarded too much with all this extra stuff on the games that I play. I mean, there's always options. Like in the games I play, like there are options to buy things and skins and different stuff. But
yeah.
That doesn't do anything.
It's like desensitized.
Yeah, I just don't care. Right. I'm going to play the game, and I don't need a different color shirt or shoes or pants, or I don't need a different icon. I just play the game. That's it. And if it's egregiously like pay to win, I just don't play the game.
Yeah.
It's just not a game for me. So it's like I just don't sign up for the madness.
That's what I'm concerned with, is the pay to win shit making it its way over, where it just becomes more and more like a thing where like they're encroaching on that with Call of Duty now, where like with Warzone and stuff, in order to unlock certain guns, you need to own the main game, and then you go unlock them in the main game's multiplayer, and then you bring it over to Warzone, or they'll have guns behind the paid battle pass or something like that. And oftentimes, big shocker, those guns tend to do pretty fucking well versus other guns. And so it's not necessarily pay to win, but they're like flirting with the edge of it to see, where people's lines are. Yeah. And so it's true. I'm the same way. But conversely, if I'm playing something and I really fucking like it, and I'm enjoying my character and I want to customize it, I won't mind if I spend $10, $15 or whatever the fuck to do my thing. Like when we played Halo Infinite at first and I was really enjoying myself, I saw that the armor I used to wear, and I did lament this, that I got for free in Halo 3. That was just the armor that I wore in Halo 3. Now they're selling it back to me as a millennial with fucking nostalgia problems. I bought my Spartan this armor, and that was okay. But like when it becomes a pay to win thing, yeah, that's a fucking pain in the ass. I just wish they didn't hit you with it so much. Like you turn the game on, the first thing I don't want to see is an ad. I don't really feel like I want to see it, even though I'm just like slamming the B button the whole way through because I know it's coming. It's just kind of like it's 20 years of it, and I'm just old and addled now, and so it's thankfully not in too many of the single player games.